Welcome to the Darkstream, VoxDay, voxday.net, and unauthorized.tv. I thought that the last stupid question day went really well. I think I like that format. Seemed like everybody else did too. So I think we are going to stick with it. I'm told that the audio is good, the video is good. We've got 7 people on the UATV chat already. DLive chat's rolling, and super chats are live. So, in the last 2 days, I've talked to several people, mostly Gen X or Gen X adjacent. And one thing that has become abundantly clear is that for some reason, some basic rules of functioning have not been successfully translated to the Zoomer generation. It's also the millennials to a certain extent, but it's more immediately obvious. I've been running into this Retardery almost nonstop for the past 6 months. I talked to a friend who's a lawyer, just because I wanted to get a balance. Say is it me? Are my expectations unreasonable? Are they too high? Or is there something going on here? Could it be the vax, or what? And we addressed some of these things in a stream a few months ago when I talked about how just being competent almost approaches being a superpower. And Jorville says the Zoomers have been raised without reality. I think that's part of it. But I think there's a fundamentally more important aspect, and we'll get to that. But just to relate a few of the things that I keep running into, and I'm not pointing any fingers at any particular individuals, because I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Think about this. Of all the people that you know, how many people would you trust to tell you that they needed certain things and give you a list that actually contained everything that they needed? How many people of your entire social circle do you believe would be capable of ordering a set of things for your sports team and actually provide the correct number of sizes for all the people involved? Now, on that last one, I have to confess that I was absolutely and totally guilty of not coming through very well on that one. Although I will say that it wasn't my fault, because I specifically asked both the captain and the president. They told me their opinion. I explained to them that I was pretty sure that was a bad idea. But, because I'm working on my Delta grind set, when they said, no, it'll be fine, I said, okay. And I did exactly what I was told. I didn't do exactly what I was told. I added a few extra. What happened was we were ordering soccer jerseys. And they just said, both the captain and the president are fairly tall. They're 6'2", 6'3". And they said, oh, just get XL. Just get XL for everybody. I'm thinking, I don't wear XL. I'm also thinking, I'm getting these from Crypto Fashion, which is an American company. American XL is bigger than you realize. And I told them that. That was my one, my one comment I permitted myself was, are you sure? Because American sizes tend to run larger than European sizes. They said, no, that's what we want. And then, of course, they show up, and the only people they fit are the tallest guys on the team. So we now have like 32 jerseys because I had to go back and order a bunch of mediums and larges, right? Point is that, I have to take some responsibility there, right? Fair enough. But, Enoch Bear says very few. And that's true. And think about how ridiculous that is. How ridiculous is it that you can't even get somebody to give you a freaking grocery list and have everything on? Now, again, I'm not talking about Space Bunny here. Believe me, the woman is capable of providing you with a detailed and comprehensive grocery list, and you are expected to find all the items on the list correctly, and it's on you to do it, which is fine. That's how I prefer it. Just tell me what I need to get, and let's leave it at that. But if you're asked to, I'll give you one example. We needed glue for the bindery, and I knew there was more than one type of glue, but I said, well, what do we need? And I get this answer from the expert. Just get some adhesives. Okay. I go to the site. There's 256 different types of adhesives. Okay. So I go to the other, I go back to him. I'm like, specifically, what adhesives do I need? You need these 3 adhesives. Okay. I go back to the site. I find the 3 different types of adhesives. And they range in size from a 100-gram bottle to a 30-kilogram tub. So I call back again. How much do I need? Oh, well, yeah, you just need 500 grams, get a bottle. Okay. I said, now, are you sure? We need this much of this glue, this much of that glue, this much of that glue. Are you sure there's no other glues we need? Well, actually, yeah, you need this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I have literally asked you 7 or 8 times, please tell me everything that I need to get, exactly what I need to get. And it took 8 attempts to get the final correct list of 4 things and the correct sizes. This is insane. Q1882 says, a business we work with shipped to the wrong address 3 times in a row with corrections each time. Yeah, we've been having trouble getting shipments to show up in the right place at the right time. In fact, our bookbinder finally had to go. I mean, it is just a few minutes away, so it wasn't a big deal. But we've actually reached the point now where we're telling people, if you ship with this particular shipping service, tell them to keep it at the depot and let us know that it's there. We'll come get it. And it's not like we live in some, or not live, it's not like we work in some obscure place. There's actually a shipping dock right there, and they can't figure it out. And they'll say, "Oh, well, we delivered," and then of course they lie about, "We delivered, but no one was there." Like, yeah, someone was there the entire time. You never came. Jervil says, the way to measure the difficulty of a shopping list is in how many times you think you will have to call your wife. Well, yeah, I mean, especially when you're dealing with foreign language stuff, even if you learn the language very well, that doesn't mean that you learn the words for certain things. I once came home with 3 different containers of cream. And of course my wife was like, "Why did you buy 3 different types of cream?" I'm like, "Because I don't know which one is the one that you want, So, well, now we have 3 different types of cream. I'm like, "Yes, but you got the one you wanted." "Yeah, but I've got 2 that I'm like, fine, throw them away. I don't care." No, I can use them. I'm like, well, then then there's no problem, right? But that's totally different. That's just male-female communications, right? But here's one of the most important things. If you are a young guy or a young girl listening to this, let me give you the single most important piece of advice you're ever going to get with regards to success in business. And it's very, very simple. It's only 4 words. Can you guess what the 4 words are? I bet you can. Shut the fuck up. And what I mean by this is, I was talking to, like I said, a couple of different guys, Gen X adjacent, and they all said the same thing. When you're told to do something, if you ask any questions, you've just rendered yourself more or less worthless. Now, I think that the Zoomers are suffering from a lack of exposure to the workplace. The workplace is vanishing. They don't have the, they don't have the jobs working from the age of 15 in adult situations. They don't have the advantage of, working as a caddy at the golf club, working as a, working at the cashier at the mall. They just haven't had those opportunities. And by the same token, they haven't learned how to interact with their bosses. I mean, it's amazing to me. And it's like the lawyer said, it's amazing to me how he cannot tell a young paralegal to do something without them turning it into a conversation or a debate or even an argument. And he's like, he said he was telling somebody the other day, look, if if I have to spend any time thinking about this, I wouldn't, you know, there's no need, no, I'm putting it wrong. He said, look, if I had the answer in 10 or 15 seconds, I wouldn't delegate it to you. I would just do it myself. The fact that I'm delegating this to you means that you have to go figure it the fuck out and don't talk to me. I don't want to think about it. And maybe that's the thing that they haven't been taught, which is when someone delegates something, it's off their desk. You know, we're all trying to dig out from our, you know, overflowing inboxes, and we're trying to get stuff out. So as soon as we pass it off to someone, it's out. Jervil says, had my sons shoveling rocks and they wouldn't stop arguing. Told them, going to introduce you to 2 of the 3 S's, shovel and shut up. Yeah, I mean that's I think that might be more of a just naturally childish thing. But I think what we're dealing with here is Wikipedia syndrome. You know, they're accustomed to being able to have information instantly accessible at all times. So they're fundamentally, and this is, I think, important for we who are older to understand, they're fundamentally, what do you call it? We're fundamentally operating in a different context. See, Ladumba here, I think, is illustrating part of the problem. Zoomer here, I usually ask for a clarification of the instructions because when I do it my way, my Sigma tendencies don't come out. Yeah, but we don't want you. We don't want to give you a clarification of the instructions, right? I mean, here's the thing. And this is maybe what people don't understand. When instructions are given, when orders are given, the only thing the person giving them wants to hear is, I'm on it. I got it. Don't worry about it. Because that lets us go, it's out of the inbox. The minute that you come back, you're like, well, how do you want me to do that? Can you give me a clarification? And should I do it this way or should I do it I mean, I can tell you right now, the very first thing that the person who, you know, that your boss or whoever is thinking is, oh my God. John Buono says, me too. I don't know. Look, don't fucking ask for clarification. You know, unless you are genuinely lost, unless you simply have no idea what you're supposed to do, figure it out yourself. I mean, sometimes it's even a test. You know, sometimes the person is testing you to figure out whether you are enough, you know, this is more of a boomer thing. So, you know, are you enough of a self-starter to be able to do the job even though I intentionally didn't give you enough information to do it correctly? You know? You know, and I don't think that this is necessarily I don't think this is like an unfixable flaw. I don't think this is like an incorrigible boomer type thing, right? I don't think it's something that's on the level of, Generation X's tendency towards nihilism and apathy. I think it's just because I think it's just mostly a lack of experience, because this is not the kind of thing that it's easy to instruct. I mean, it's fairly easy to instruct if you're outside of the workplace context, and I can just tell all of you, look, shut the fuck up, figure it out yourself, and everybody will be happy. Not only that, but you're probably going to develop some useful skills. I had a Naval Academy graduate tell me the point of the letter to Garcia was the need to give clear and specific orders. Get this letter to Garcia. You'll have to give me more. I've heard of that, but I don't know what it means exactly. Is that a positive example or a negative example? I mean, it sounds pretty clear. Get this letter to Garcia. Now, if they don't give you a letter, or if you don't know who Garcia is, I can see where that might be an issue. On the other hand, if Garcia is someone who's in your company and your superior officer hands you a letter, Veritas, this is an interesting point. Veritas says, it's a consequence of public education. You're encouraged to do that in class. I had to unlearn that. Oh, yeah, I can see very, very clearly that a teacher would love to hear someone asking questions. So when you say that you want us to do chapter 1, do you want us to do the entire chapter, all the questions in the chapter? The teachers are like, hooray! Somebody actually listened to what I said and is interested enough to ask a question. Okay. If you're in the workforce, you're not dealing with 95 IQ retards, which the average teacher is. Okay, you understand teachers are stupid. They have below average IQs. And so some of the things that they prefer and some of the habits that they have are actually going to be detrimental to you. And again, I'm not saying that the burden for clear communication is not on the part of the communicator. It is. But if there's a missing piece, the correct thing to do is to go try to figure it out first. And then if you can't, to go back and see about getting the missing piece. Because here's the thing. I would guess that probably 85% of the time, all of the questions that are asked, all of the clarifications that are demanded are unnecessary. Ludumba says, a big difference is usually between having a female boss or a male one. The micromanagement brings out the uncertainty often. Yeah, I can see that happening. But I can also say with absolute certainty that neither I nor any of the people that I'm talking about are micromanagers. And it's a problem that we've all noticed that has come about fairly recently. I mean, we're talking like in the last 5 years. And that was from the lawyer. He was saying, because lawyers have an interesting perspective on generational differences and stuff, because they're always seeing new paralegals every year. They're always seeing paralegals coming through. They're always seeing what they call the first years, the new, the latest batch of newly barred lawyers. I think there's a lot of teleworking and a lot of weed being smoked. That could be. That could be. But the main thing, and this is what I'm trying to get across, is that it's not a classroom. You don't get points for raising your hand and talking. You get points for getting stuff done and sparing your boss the mental energy and effort required to oversee it. Here we go. Message to Garcia is an essay about individual initiative based on an order from President McKinley to get a letter to a Cuban insurgent. The Academy guy missed the mark by a mile. Was it the fault of Garcia? Or, I mean, was it not Garcia? But was it the fault of McKinley, or was it the fault of the Academy guy? It sounds like it's the Academy guy, but I'm curious. They call me Cordell sends a super chat. Thank you. He says, I had my nephew help me out as a plumber, and even getting him to figure out simple tasks was a struggle. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if the public school indoctrination just teaches them to be passive. It said even the task as simple as unloading a truck at the end of the day was somehow hard. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that often when I was driving past a little bit of road work being done, and it was interesting how there was this older white guy who was like doing all the work, and there was a young black guy who was just standing there watching. I probably drove past them 3 times over the course of, let's say, 2 hours, and the younger black guy wasn't doing any. I never saw him do anything. Just sitting there watching the guy work. And there does seem to be a bit of maybe they've got their own apathy problem. Maybe it's a bit of a helplessness problem. Renee sounds like she has a boomer father. My father used to test new electricians working for him by just stating, "It's a bit dark in that corner," and wait to see what they did. Digital soma plus tightening grip of intentional harm in public ed, exponentially growing gap between sanity and the present. Okay, that's bordering on ramble. We'll pass on that one. Larry Dynamite Bear says, public school mainly focuses on teaching pupils how to organize and protest. Lack of confidence can be an issue too. Learned helplessness, people are taught to depend on authority to act for them. Static says, I'm a millennial and I think it's a lack of confidence and a compliance to authority mindset. Yeah, I mean, I can see where there's this idea that I'm showing how dedicated I am to doing whatever you want by asking you for more details and making sure that I'm doing exactly what you want. Maybe that does have something to do with it. Controversy says, many of the Zoomers I work with seem like they want to talk in person, and they are. All right, so we'll call it a day for now, and we'll continue this. We'll continue this next time on Vox Day. This is the Darkstream.